Hey guys, this is Noah from Best Book Readings. I'm sure that you guys didn't catch that first part. It was hey guys, but I have a brand new channel series idea type thing called Best Book Readings. And my entire objective of this is to get you guys kind of like, if you have summer reading, I'll help you through that book. I'll make it fun somehow. I don't know. But just to know, I'm not gonna there's gonna be like a book a month type deal, because I have to upload these videos. Each session is going to be like 15 minutes. That's not that much of a book. Um, but I will record and record and record and record for you guys. Um, I'm going to do everything I can in order for you guys to be happy as viewers. I'm going to do everything. Like, I won't write your paper though. That's not happening. I will add a summary after like every 5 chapters, if that's okay with you. And that will, I think that's a good plan. I think maybe it might be every 10 chapters with this book, because I think it's every 3 pages there's a new chapter. Um, but I am dyslexic. I have issues reading books. I have issues reading. I absolutely hate reading. But I want to make someone's life easier. That's the entire idea of doing this. So if you guys like come out saying, "Oh, I hate this shit. I hate it. Can't believe you're like such a faggot." I'm like, no, I'm straight. I have a girlfriend. But yeah. So please just don't hate on this. I actually do have a girlfriend, just by the way. But my objective in life is to go into comedy of some sort, maybe someday news reporting, maybe, if that is an option that is available to me. Um, but I'm going to be reading The Little Prince by Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, and this should be a fun experience. It's all written in like almost old English, so it's like really hard to do this as a book reading. Um, it is illustrated. It has pictures in it. So I will show you pictures at the end of every page. Once, when I was 6 years old, I saw a magnificent picture in a book called True Stories from Nature about the primeval forest. It was a picture of a boa constrictor in the act of swallowing an animal. Here is a copy of the drawing. In the book it said, boa constrictors swallow their whole prey without chewing it. After that they are not able to move, and they sleep through the 6 months that they need for digestion. I pondered deeply, then over the adventures of the jungle, and after some work with a colored pencil, I succeeded in making my first drawing. My drawing number 1. It looked like this. So, this is the boa constrictor eating its prey, and then this is his drawing number 1. I showed my masterpiece to the grown-ups, and asked them whether the drawing frightened them. They answered, "Frightened? Why should anyone be frightened by a hat?" My drawing was not a picture of a hat. It was a picture of a boa constrictor digesting an elephant. But since the grown-ups were not able to understand it, I made another drawing. I drew the inside of the boa constrictor so that grown-ups could see it clearly. They always need to have things explained. My drawing number 2 looked like this. The grown-up's response this time was to advise me to lay aside my drawings of boa constrictors, whether from the inside or the outside, and devote myself instead to geography, history, arithmetic, and grammar. That is why at the age of 6 I gave up what might have been a magnificent career as a painter. I hadn't been disheartened by the failure of my drawing number 1 and my drawing number 2. Grown-ups never understand anything by themselves, and it is very tiresome for children to always be and forever explaining things to them. So this is the elephant inside, so it's drawing number 2. So then I chose another profession and learned to pilot airplanes. I've flown a little over all parts of the world, and it is true that geography has been very useful to me. At a glance, I can distinguish China from Arizona, and if one gets lost in the night, such knowledge is valuable. In the course of this life, I have had a great many encounters with a great many people who have been concerned with matters of consequence. I have lived a great deal among grown-ups. I have seen them intimately close at hand, and that hasn't improved my opinion of them. Whenever I met one of them who seemed to me at all clear-sighted, I tried the experiment of showing him my drawing number 1, which I have always kept. I would try to find out if this was a person of true understanding, but whoever it was, he or she would always say, "That is a hat." Then I would never talk to that person about boa constrictors or probable forests or stars. I would bring myself down to his level. I would talk to him about bridge and golf and politics and neckties. And the grown-up would be greatly pleased to have met such a sensible man. So, we're through chapter 1, we're now on chapter 2. So, I lived my life alone, without anyone that I could really talk to until I had an accident with my plane in the desert of Sahara 6 years ago. Something was broken in my engine, and as I had with me neither a mechanic nor any passengers, I set myself to attempt the difficult repairs, all alone. It was a question of life or death for me. I had scarcely enough drinking water to last a week. The first night, then, I went to sleep on the sand, 1,000 miles away from any human habitation. I was more isolated than a shipwrecked sailor on a raft in the middle of the ocean. Thus you can imagine my amazement at sunrise when I was awakened by an odd little voice that said, "If you please, draw me a sheep." What? Draw me a sheep? I jumped to my feet, completely thunderstruck. I blinked my eyes hard. I looked carefully all around me, and I saw a most extraordinary small person who stood there examining me with great seriousness. Here you may see the best portrait that, later, I was able to make of him, but my drawing is certainly much less charming than his model. That, however, is not my fault. The grown-ups discouraged me in my painter's career when I was 6 years old, and I never learned how to draw anything except boas from the outside and boas from the inside. Now, I stared at this sudden apparition with my eyes, barely staring out of my head in astonishment. So, this is his portrait, so this is the little prince, who we've been talking about so far has been the pilot. Remember, I had crashed in the desert 1,000 miles from any inhabited region, and yet my little man seemed neither to be straying uncertainly among the sands, nor to be fainting from fatigue or hunger, or thirst, or fear. Nothing about him gave any suggestion of a child lost in the middle of a desert, 1,000 miles away from any human habitation. When at last I was able to speak, I said to him, "But what are you doing here?" And in answer he repeated very slowly, as if he were speaking of a matter with great consequence, "If you please, draw me a sheep." When a mystery is too overpowering, one dare not disobey, absurd as it might seem to me, 1,000 miles from any human habitation and in danger of death. I took out of my pocket a sheet of paper and my fountain pen. But then I remembered how my studies had been concentrated on geography, history, arithmetic, and grammar, and I told the little chap, a little crossly too, that I did not know how to draw. He answered to me, "That doesn't matter, draw me a sheep." But I had never drawn a sheep, so I drew for him one of 2 pictures I had drawn so often. It was that of the boa constrictor from the outside, and I was astounded to hear the little fellow greet with, "No, no, no, I do not want an elephant inside of a boa constrictor. A boa constrictor is a very dangerous creature, and an elephant is very cumbersome. Where I live, everything is very small. What I need is a sheep. Draw me a sheep." So then I made a drawing. He looked at it carefully and said, "No, this sheep is already very sickly. Make me another." So I made another drawing. My friend smiled gently and indulgently. "You see yourself," he said. "That is not a sheep. This is a ram. It has horns." So then I did my drawing over once more, but it was rejected too, just like the others. "This one is too old. I want a sheep that will live a long time." By this time my patient was exhausted, because I was in a hurry to start taking my engine apart, so I tossed off this drawing, and I threw an explanation with it. So these are the sheep that he has drawn. This is the first, this is the ram, and down here is the old sickly sheep. Deaths. This is only his box. The sheep you asked for is inside. I was very surprised to see a light break over the face of my young judge. This is exactly the way I wanted it. Do you think the sheep will have a great deal of grass? Why? Because where I live, everything is very small. There will surely be enough grass for him, I said. It is a very small sheep that I have given you. He bent his head over the drawing. Not so small that. Look! He has gone to sleep. And that is how I made the acquaintance of the Little Prince. So that is the end of the first 2 chapters of The Little Prince. I would very much like you to leave a comment on the series, subscribe, tell your friends, like it, please. I don't think I'll be adding any advertisements to this. I really don't plan on it. It's not one of the things that I really plan on doing, because I'm not expecting you guys to be like, "Oh my gosh, Noah, I totally love you reading." But if you guys somehow do, that would be amazing. I will check back in with you guys probably tomorrow. It's really late outside. I'm tired, and tomorrow is the first day of school, so I will check back in with you guys. I'm really hoping that you guys enjoy this. So make sure to leave a comment, like, and subscribe. Super generic ending. Goodbye.